What's up guys, Chaz with the Lifestyle Warrior here, bringing you a long overdue video that a lot of people have requested. So let's talk about our first year selling on Amazon FBA with a tiny little dash of eBay thrown into the mix. I just want to sit down and be real with you guys and show you what part-time effort from an average seller can do. Now the first question I'm just going to answer and get out of there. I'm going to be as transparent as I can throughout this whole thing. Number one question I've been answered is, Chaz, what did you do in sales and what was your profit in 2016? We sent our first shipment in on November 17th, 2015. Made my first sale on Thanksgiving morning actually for $7.49 off of a Dollar Tree puzzle that I sent in. Fast forward to December, I put up my first YouTube video, which was about the big bulk pallet, which I'm gonna cover in a minute. And then 2016 rolls around and this is where our first full year on Amazon was. So let's dive into the numbers. Fast forward to December 31st, I'm scrolling through my sales, I'm waiting for that final clock to come down, and it happens. We hit $70,000 in sales for our first full year selling on Amazon part-time. Now for some of you, that's gonna be huge. You're gonna think, oh my gosh, that's a big number. I can't wait until I can do that. And for some of you, you're gonna watch this and think, that's it? Some of you do that in a day. And that's amazing. But for us, that was something I was damn proud of. I can just make that crystal clear right now. I was very proud of that number, and here's why. The reason I started Amazon FBA was solely for the fact that I was already a full-time entrepreneur. I already had quit my job 2 years prior. I was already living my dream. But I have a wife, Trista, who was going to a job that she hated and she was in a bad environment. Amazon FBA was my ticket to help her get out of that job. That's why I put in all that work in the beginning that you guys saw in these YouTube videos. Now February rolls around, Trista was able to quit her job. She came home and started helping me at the house. It was a lot of late nights out here in the garage. It was a lot of sourcing time that went into it. Even as a part-time gig, you're still putting in those foot hours going out to the stores. Leading up to the situation of her quitting her job, which was, I can't tell you the relief that I had when she was able to put in that notice. It was just incredible. It's one of those times that you never forget in your life. The whole purpose of her doing that in February was the fact that I was getting ready to hire somebody to come in this garage, which I'm filming in right now, that I was gonna hire somebody to come and help me. And it made no sense to take Trista's paycheck to hire someone else to come be at home and do this with me. We just thought, why not cut out the middleman? You quit your job and you come home and do this full time. And that's what we did. Oh, I know, $70,000, right? Woohoo! Let's get into the real numbers. This is the part that nobody likes to share. And for those of you who have been fans of this YouTube channel and what I do, I don't care if you know what kind of money that we make. I don't care about being transparent. If I get paid for something, I don't care if you guys know. I'm gonna put it all out there for you right now. So we did manage to pull out $70,000 in sales for the entire year of 2016. Here's what it broke down to as far as actual profit. Now with the sales number, this is a big number thrown around in Facebook groups all too often. And people honestly get discouraged sometimes because they see these big epic numbers and they think, wow, why can't I do that? Sales do not equal profit. Sales do not equal what's going into that person's bank account. So you need to remember that. A sales number is simply what your items actually sold for that the customer paid up front. That's called total revenue, gross revenue. Now here's the things that do not show in that sales number. Customer returns. This was a big eye-opener for myself. Now based on my inventory lab reports, again, I'm gonna put everything out there because I don't care. I'm gonna be transparent. We had $12,000 in customer returns and refunds. That means that $12,000 is pulled out of our sales number. Now alongside with customer returns slash refunds, you also have your FBA fees. You have your cost of goods. You have the shipping costs that it takes to get these items to Amazon. You have all these fees that come into something that a lot of sellers don't talk about. So sure, we may have done $70,000. That does not mean we saw $70,000 come back to our bank account. So what was the total number? After everything is said and done, after our shipping cost, our cost of goods, after our customer returns, after all of that is said and done, we saw $25,000 in profit come back. So out of $70,000 in sales, we saw $25,000 in net profit come back into our bank account. That's after cost of goods, which puts us at about a 35% profit margin, is a word that you'll hear thrown around there. So your margin is what percentage of those sales number did you actually see as a true profit number. And for us, it was a 35% margin, which means we pulled about $25,000 in net profit. Now, based on that profit, here's why I go back to the statement that I said that I was damn proud of what we did. Sure, they're not huge, extravagant numbers. We didn't put in full-time effort. We didn't put in those huge, extravagant hours that it takes to do $100,000 in profit for a year. My goal going into this, guys, was to help Trista quit her job, which she did in February 2016. So for almost the entire year, for 11 months straight, she was home with our 2-year-old, with our boy. That's what this was all for. Her income at the time was $20,000. My goal was $20,000 profit. I didn't care if it was a $300,000 in sales. I didn't care if it was $20,000 in sales. The profit is what I was after. I wanted $20,000 in profit to bring my wife home, and that's what happened. So because of that reason, yes, I am super proud of what we've done. So those are the numbers, $70,000 in sales. At the end of the day, we brought home $25,000 on top of what we put in. And I know a next question is, well, Chaz, how much cash did you reinvest into this business? I can tell you based on the Inventory Lab report that's right in front of my face right now, we put in about $17,000. So we over doubled our money that we put into this thing. Now, of course, looking at my whole year in review with Amazon, there's going to be lots of questions. I'm gonna answer those for you. Number one question that I've gotten over and over again: did you actually make money on the bulk in 888 lots pallets that you posted about on your YouTube reviews? Yeah, I did. And here's why. Everyone has seen the bulk videos by now. Those big pallets of toys that I had, this was over a year ago. Here's the thing with the bulk pallets. I did 2 videos on these. The first one in particular, yes, I made a lot of money on. I made at least $1,500 in profit off of that one pallet. But here's why. Bulk was a new company back then. There were very few sellers getting into that market. I happened to be one of the first ones, so I got to pick the best of the best. Now that the market has gotten bigger and more saturated, this is why it's very difficult to go onto bulk.com or 888 lots and pick good lots or pallets the first try. You have to have a keen eye for what you're looking for, and you have to know exactly which platform, whether it's Amazon, eBay, or local, that you're going to sell on to make a profit off of those. So can you just go to bulk.com and purchase the first pallet that you see and make money on it? Probably not. You have to do your research. You have to research the manifest. You have to cross-check over to your Amazon sellers app. You have to do these things. You have to do your research. You have to put in the work to find if it's going to be a good flip for you. Amazon is only one way to sell product, guys. You've got eBay, you've got local flips, you've got all these different apps like OfferUp and LetGo and Mercari that you can use to flip product on. So can you buy from bulk.com and 888 lots and these liquidation sites and still make money? Of course, if you do your research and know which platform you're going to go with. So my final take on liquidation, after being in this business for a year, I dabbled in several different companies with liquidation. My final thoughts on liquidation are this. If you are a newbie, do not get into liquidation thinking you can just go purchase any pallet and flip it for a profit. That will not happen nowadays. The videos I did were well over a year ago. Back then it was a different ball game. Now we're looking at saturation. So you have to do your research, you have to know which platform you're going to flip those products on, and you have to really hone in on your conditions. Here's the thing with any liquidation company. You're going to be dealing with box damage. That's just part of the game. You're dealing with customer returns. Make sure you read through your manifest and cross-check to your Amazon Sellers app. This is part of doing the work that a lot of people want to skip, and you just cannot skip the work, guys. No one's going to hand you and spoon feed you the best of the best products. If you see people who are doing very well and they are successful, they have built their foundation. They have put in the hours. They have put in the work. I hate to sound harsh right now, but welcome to business. You have to be willing to build this because it starts and ends with you. This is your business. You have to ask yourself, how much work am I willing to do to create the best relationships with these suppliers that I can to get the best deals on these products? Let's dive into successes and failures of the year. I'm going to share successes last because there are few of them compared to the failures that we've had, and I hope that you take something out of this. Success is built on the foundation of failures. If you have a fear of failure, you've already failed because of that fear. The people who go out and take risks, which is in the definition of an entrepreneur, which is something you say you want to do, it's in the definition. You have to be willing to take a risk, to fail, to learn and grow from that failure to achieve those successes. Failure number one, we did not reinvest all of our money. What I mean by that is when we put in our first initial $500, $500 is what we started with. When we put in our first $500, let's say we got $600 back. So we had a $100 profit. We did not reinvest all $600 back into it. This is why we had a very slow growth curve. Within this type of business model, you have to be willing to reinvest 100% of that income that is generated to scale and grow and get bigger. Why didn't we reinvest all of our money? Because my wife quit her job. We had bills to pay. We're normal people just like you. That was a learning experience that we had to go through and learn the hard way, is the fact that we should have, looking back, knowing what I know now, we should have reinvested every single penny. We could have easily done $250,000 this 2016 if we would have done it the right way. So my one tip for you newbies watching this right now, the money you put into your Amazon or eBay business, your e-commerce business, you need to be willing to detach yourself from that income. Keep your business money in your business, because we took it out to pay bills, for personal use, for trips, all this kind of stuff, and it was fun while it lasted. But at the end of the year, we realized real quick how slow our growth was because of simply pulling that money out for personal use. So I would highly recommend you reinvest every dollar that you can back into your business. Now, of course, this all depends on your goal. If you want to do $500,000 or $1 million in sales this year, then you need to be reinvesting as much as you can, putting as much capital in that snowball as you can. But if your goal is to only do $100,000 this year, and you do $100,000 while taking money out for personal use, that's great. It's all based on your goals. I've had several people reach out to me and be like, Chaz, how come you didn't go for $250,000 this year? Because it wasn't our goal. My goal was to create $20,000 of net profit to get my wife out of her job, which we did. I hit my goals. I'm good. Now 2017, that's a different story. Failure number two, failing to do my history research. Now, when you're dealing with sales rank on Amazon, a sales rank is a number assigned to each Amazon product that shows you in the current timestamp of the hour, I'll explain that in a minute, of the hour, how fast that product may be selling. So if I have a product in the store that I scan the barcode and it pops up and it says, this is rank number 20,000 in toys, that's a super fast rank. Lots and lots of toys flying off that shelf, right? But if I look at the history on Keepa.com or CamelCamelCamel.com, and I see that this may be a temporary spike in sales, but throughout the whole rest of the year, the sales rank is over 200,000, I probably would not buy that product. So don't just look at the sales rank as of today, because I'm telling you, the sales rank fluctuates by the hour. That's how fast these ranks can change. I've seen ranks go from 200,000 down to 50,000 within a couple days. It's that quick. So when you're doing your research, use Keepa, use Camel, use those graphs to do your research to get a full big picture view on how fast those products might be selling. So my failure by not doing my research on a lot of products, I got stuck with products that were sitting in the warehouse for 6+ months that I got hit with storage fees from. So at the end of the day, even if I didn't pay much for those products in the store because of the storage fees that kicked in, I ended up losing money on those when they did sell. Along with bad buys, let's talk about number 3. Oh, number 3. This is the infamous purchase that we made. Now, I will not give out the company information or the name because of the fact that I do believe it is a great company with great products. We just made a poor buying decision. We thought we were big shots at some point. We decided, you know, we're getting really good at pallet flipping. Let's go in on a half truckload. Truckload is a big trailer truck full of pallets. We found a company that does these and we decided, you know what? Let's put up some capital. Let's go for it. Let's go big or go home, right? This was in March, right after Trista quit her job. So we found 11 pallets for $3,000. We broke it down to about $5 per item. It was a combination of toys and electronics and home and kitchen. It was just a big mix of great things. The pictures looked fantastic. The price was reasonable, but here's where the mistake was made. It was unmanifested, which means there was no itemized list of what was in those pallets. We can only see the pictures that showed what was on top, and the shipping cost was $3,000. So the cost of these pallets was going to be $3,000 for 11 pallets, which is a great deal if you can go pick it up if you're local or if it's a short distance for your shipping. Unfortunately, we were clear across the country up here in Oregon. So we were looking at $3,000 for the cost of goods for the actual pallets and then another $3,000 to ship the things. We got trigger happy. We were just so pumped and so excited to get these things because we thought we were going to become millionaires off of these pallets. We placed the order, wired the money, pallets show up, we're super pumped. We filled up this entire garage with 8 of them, and God bless our neighbors, we put 3 of the extras instead of theirs. I had to get a cheap pallet jack off of Craigslist, haul those things down the street from our neighbor's house, and then we get to that first night that we start diving through these things. We're pulling out items, half of them are broke. We realized this was probably a bad idea because we were looking at a $5 buy cost per item, and half of these were not even functioning. This was an unmanifested customer returns load, which means we had to test every single item. It was a lot of toys, a lot of electronics, a lot of home goods, and it was extremely time consuming. So in our heads when we placed this order, we ran the numbers, we thought we're gonna turn this $6,000 into $15,000. We're gonna over double our money and we're gonna do it within a week. If we hustle, we can get these done in a week. It took us 3 weeks to clear those pallets out of here, and we were both burnt out. And that was honestly the moment where we got out of liquidation. We stopped doing pallets because that just broke us down. We barely broke even. We were able to sell about 1/3 of the products on Amazon. About 1/3 of the products had to go on eBay, and the other 1/3 we had to offload locally via garage sales right out of our front of our garage here. At the end of the day, about 3 months later, we were able to recover our money. We broke even. We made our $6,000 back and some change. A couple $100 profit. Nothing to brag about whatsoever. So that was a big, big learning experience for us. Fast forward a few months, let's get into number 4 failure. The infamous Q4 starts to come around. We're kind of excited, we're pumped up, we're thinking about products we're gonna be investing in, and at the same time, we're looking into the private label world, which is branding our own products from China with our logos, our brand, putting them up on Amazon, eBay, etc., and start selling those. So we nail our first product. We're super excited to get this thing off the ground. It's about November. We get our logo, we get the buy cost details back, and then we get the minimum order quantity. And there was 1,000 units that were a minimum order, and we are looking between a $10 and a $12 buy cost without the shipping. So unfortunately, due to the funding that we had at the time, we were not able to put in that order. So we decided, let's stop with thrifting in RA and OA. Let's just conserve our capital since we had income coming in anyways, because we built a pretty decent sized inventory throughout the whole year. We had sales coming in every single day. We figured, let's just take these checks, compile them into one, and we'll put in our private label order. Here's where our failure happened. We did not ship a single FBA shipment in for 3 months. For 3 months. Here's the cool part, is because of the grind that we put in, we had plenty of inventory to sell, so we actually had a decent Q4, but that $70,000 could have easily been $100,000 if we would have done Q4 the right way and prepped for it. Now for one of the scariest failures we went through. Log into my Amazon account one day, and sure enough, I look in my account health and I see the at-risk status, which for any seller will make your stomach drop. Click on it, investigate it. Turns out we had an inauthentic claim on one of our products that we did receive on a pallet. There was about a 2-day research process where I'm slightly freaking out and looking in my own Facebook group, looking in other people's Facebook groups, Google, Amazon Seller Central forums, etc., trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. And shout out to my man, Sean Michael, who time and time again, I have seen him comment, just give Amazon what they want. So that ran through my head. All they wanted was proof of authenticity, so I simply just took the invoice that I had for that product, I sent it into Amazon, and everything was taken care of. So on our end, that was definitely a very scary failure for me to sit down and tell Trista that we almost lost our account. That was a very, very tough day specifically. But it all worked out. I just followed Amazon's rules and we moved forward. So you guys can see that not all of this is fun and games. What you don't see behind these YouTube videos and the Facebook groups, what you don't see is how many nights that I was out here, or Trista was out here putting in the 2 a.m. grind. You don't see the sacrifices that were made. You don't see the commitments that were made. Especially building this YouTube channel throughout this whole year. That's a whole nother topic in itself, but you guys don't see the work that's gone into the YouTube channel. You don't see the haters, you don't see the threatening emails I've gotten, you don't see any of that. But I'm up here anyways because I give a damn and I care. I want to help people build a lifestyle that they want utilizing these online methods that we've discovered. But throughout those failures, and those were just a few, we've had tons. Throughout those failures, there have been successes. Number one, Trista quit her job. Like, that's the number one thing that most people start in any online business for, is because they want their time freedom. Your time is the most valuable asset you will ever have in your life. And sadly, most of us spend it wasting it at a job that we don't even like, to make a paycheck that we can't even spend on ourselves, to pay for a house that we're never in because we're going to the job to make the paycheck that pays for the house and the utilities. It's a vicious cycle, so this is why we do most of this. So our number one success from 2016 was Trista got to quit her job. And for us, that honestly means the world, because we have a 2-year-old that we adore. We want to be here for him. We want to raise him. We don't want to pay other people to raise him. We get to be here every single day. Even though we're working, we still have the time freedom to pause during the day and go do a dance session with him to his favorite music. We get a pause during the day and go to the park. We get a pause during the day and do what we want, because it's the lifestyle that we wanted and we built it. That's hands down the number one success of the entire year. So all of the times that we lost money on bad deals, all of the times that we were up late, all the sacrifices and hard work that went into building this business, 100% worth it because of the fact that we own our time now. Number two success is the fact that this business, personally for me, taught me how to dream bigger than I was. I've created this person I've become now. I was not a born, per se, entrepreneur. I've been built. I've created what we have now. And even throughout that creation process, I always had limiting beliefs. I think that's something a lot of us struggle with. So when I got into this business, I remember thinking about the fact that $100,000 was a huge number. I remember thinking 6 figures was where like the professionals were at. That's pretty big status if you're doing 6 figures. And in 2016, we did that. We have multiple income streams, and we did 6 figures for our first time ever. We over tripled what we did the year before. So this business taught me how to dream big. Way bigger than I ever thought. And most of all, it taught me that not only can I dream big, but I can do it. Number 3, success. Throughout doing this business, Amazon FBA, this YouTube channel, building our Facebook page and our group, working with various software owners and affiliate deals, I have found some of the best relationships in life. And I think that's one thing it all comes down to. Sure, you can flip product, you can make a profit, but it comes down to your relationships in life. And I have honestly made some of the best ones I could have ever asked for just by simply getting into this business. It always amazes me that through online methods, Facebook, YouTube, etc., you can create and establish relationships that are going to last for a very, very long time. And it's been simply amazing. The fact that I can post in our Facebook group, hey guys, I'm gonna go have dinner in LA or Phoenix or Dallas, and we can have a group of 20 people show up wherever we go, I can't even put into words how incredible that is. The community is why I do all of this. Sure, I love flipping product, I love making money like you all do, but for me it comes down to the people and the community. That is so much more important to me than anything else. Number 4, success that I've personally seen throughout doing this journey with Amazon FBA. It's taught me how to be a better leader. I don't know if it came necessarily from doing the FBA business and journey in itself by flipping products, because you're not dealing with people, you're dealing with products. But for myself, stepping up and doing this YouTube channel, being consistent with the videos has been a very tough thing. And then on top of that, being involved with the Facebook group, it's taught me to be a better leader, because I come from a background of being honestly flaky. And I don't mind being transparent, putting that out there. It's not easy to talk about because I'm not proud of the fact that I used to be a big flake. I used to call myself a leader in certain aspects, and I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't stepping up and leading by example. By providing these YouTube videos in combination with the Facebook group, it has taught me in so many ways to step up, be a leader. If you want to help people, you have to do it first. You have to lead by example. So that's been a huge benefit for myself, just in the success aspect of growing into a leader that I've always wanted to become. Now that I've become that leader, the gratification that comes from this is just insane. Last but not least, number 5, success of 2016. We were able, as busy as we were, because we run multiple businesses, multiple streams of income, as busy as we were, at the same time, we were able to take more time off. Again, it comes down to owning our time. That time freedom is so precious. We took a trip to LA, we went down to Nashville, we went to Phoenix, we went to all these different places, and we were able to unplug, enjoy ourselves, be with family, and that could not have come if we did not put in the hard work throughout most of the year to establish that FBA business that we built. So now let's cover a few FAQs that I often get. Number 1, this is a huge one I've been asked time and time again, is Chaz, did you get paid or get free product to do the bulk in 888 lots reviews? The honest to God answer, guys, is no. I bought those with my own income because I wanted to be there was no one doing reviews. I wanted to be one of the first ones. That's why I did it. I did not get paid in any way. Again, I have no problem sharing when I do. I did not get paid in any way or compensated to do those videos in the beginning. Number 2 is, Chaz, what sources have made you the most profit? Based on my inventory lab reports in front of me, our number 1 profitable source has been Goodwill. Based on this, we sold 307 units at a $9,491 revenue with a $4,550 profit, which left us at an average 185% ROI. So that just means we more than doubled our money on every purchase that we made from Goodwill. Going down the list, we made $3,200 profit from Walmart. We made $2,600 profit from garage sales. So a lot of the people that commented on my garage sale haul videos asking if we actually made money doing that, yes we did. Next up on the list is NA, which just means I did not categorize them inside of my inventory lab reports, but based on NA. So these might filter into Goodwill, Walmart, garage sales, etc. it was an added $2,500 profit. So those are extra numbers that should be plugged in there somewhere. Next up, I did almost $2,000 just on Nike flips. So for those of you asking me about Nike, yes, we did make money flipping shoes. Side note, I was only able to do those and still to this day flip Nikes on Amazon because I was grandfathered in before the restrictions hit, just because y'all keep asking. Next up, we actually had to deal with one of our neighbors who shut down their Amazon store, so we absorbed all of their books. We cherry picked the good ones, sent them in. We only paid $1 per book. As of right now, we have sold 169 of those books for a $1,400 profit. So you guys can see the list just keeps going down and down and down, all the different suppliers, but those were our top ones. All the rest of them are between a $500 and $900 profit range. Chaz, how many hours did you put into this? That's honestly an extremely difficult one to answer because I can't give you a straight answer on how much we got paid per hour because I didn't track hours. I know that some weeks may have been 20 hours in a week, some weeks were 5, and that includes drive time. I know for our peak season was garage sale season, so every Friday and Saturday we were up at 7:30 a.m., we were on the road by 8, and then we were back home by noon. And we did that for those 2 days every single week for about 3 months. So you can start to get a ballpark number for the drive time versus how much time we spent sourcing in stores, etc. I honestly don't know. I can't give you a ballpark number. All I know is we hit our goals for the year, and that's really all I care about. Chaz, what's your personal favorite sourcing method? Honestly, my favorite sourcing method is OA, which is online arbitrage, simply for the fact that it's less time consuming than RA, which is retail arbitrage. I love retail arbitrage in the treasure hunter aspect, as far as the fact that you can go into Goodwills and get your treasure hunter hat on and start scanning like you find the gems, right? I love that. But in a business sense, I much prefer OA, which I can sit on my couch, I can take 30 minutes to an hour, click, 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 order my products, and they get shipped here to my house, and then I send them into FBA. Chaz, why do you run multiple businesses? Why don't you just focus on one or two? My answer to that is pretty simple. I love variety, and I do not like putting all my eggs in one basket. Now, as of right now, we run 7 total income streams as far as our businesses, but that does not mean I am spreading myself across all 7 of those. I have learned to utilize assistants and outsource a few things, and I've learned to focus on just 1 or 2 at a time for 1 to 2 months. So just because I say I run multiple businesses does not mean I'm spreading myself super thin and trying to do all of it at the same time. I've been there, I've done that, I got burnt out, and I found out real quick it does not work. So once you learn to utilize help and create teams and systems, a lot of that stuff can actually become automated. So why am I involved with so many different businesses and income streams and opportunities? Simply for the fact that I want to build extreme wealth utilizing different methods. Each method I have chosen is a different business model. Each one has their pros and each one has their cons. I feel like by doing them all that I do, they definitely fit in with each other very well. Because while I can automate certain ones, other ones need my attention, and I can focus in on those while the other ones are still running. I can tell you one thing that I love is when you wake up and you not only have one paycheck coming in, but you have several coming in on the same day or same week. It's a very good thing. And also for the fact that we had to really hustle. We had to find different ways to earn income streams based on Trista coming home. FBA was just one of those business models where you have to reinvest every single dollar like we talked about. And because we weren't at a level where we can focus on just FBA and still pay our bills, I had to utilize other streams. Now, if you're thinking about multiple streams of income, which is one method I personally love, I don't recommend it if you are not great at delegating tasks out to people, because like I said, you cannot do it all. You will get burnt out so quick if you try to do it all. So I am a personal fan of doing 30-day increments. So for every 30 days, I look at the new month and I look at what are the 1 to 2 businesses that need the biggest amount of attention, and then what teams and systems can I put in place to help run the others. Chaz, how has this changed your personal life, your family dynamics? So when Trista quit her job back in February, it was a very tough transition for us because for the first time in her life, she had to learn to develop an entrepreneur mindset, which means working for yourself is not easy. You have to be very structured with your time. You have to prioritize what needs to be done today. And most of all, you have to have the self-drive to get up and get that stuff done. There was a couple months that she basically took off. She had been working for years in the medical industry. When she came home, she took about 2 months off to be with our boy Titus and to just live the life that she wanted. Now, transitioning back into work mode, when she started to come out here and help me more out in this garage and run our e-commerce business, there was a lot of trial and error that went into it, because no longer were we separated as far as I worked at home, she worked at a job. We were learning to work together in a professional manner, which is a totally different ballgame for those of you that have been through it. All in all, I think the biggest learning experience through that was the fact that we had to learn to separate the business and our personal life as much as possible, especially the fact that we do everything out of our home. Very easy to bring work from our garage into the living room and into our whole personal life. It's very easy to talk about this stuff and to always be talking business 24/7. So it took us a while. It took us a very, very long while to transition into learning to separate the two. So now we follow loose business hours, where if we're in the garage, that's go time, that's business time, and then we keep everything separate. So the second that we are back in the main house and our garage door is shut, that's personal time. Whether that's playing with our boy, if we're just sitting down having a meal together, that becomes our personal time again. But again, it took us a while to get to that point. So if you are at a point where you're going to be working with a family member, a spouse, anything like that, it will affect your personal life on some level if you allow it. So you have to learn to, number one, set boundaries, and number two, you just have to learn to separate the two. But aside from that little learning curve that we had to learn to overcome and become self-employed working with each other, which brought the relationship to a different dynamic, it's honestly been incredible. And I don't say that in a manner of like, oh my gosh, look at us, we get to live with time freedom. Like that's not a place where I come from. If you interpret it that way, that's on you, but that's not the place I'm coming from. But it has been a really, really cool experience to be able to just stop in the middle of the day and go have lunch together, which is something we weren't able to do for years because of our jobs. So in certain dynamics, we've definitely had to learn to work the business together in certain ways, but then on a totally different personal level, our relationship has improved tremendously because we are with each other a lot more than we used to be. And we've learned to communicate better. We've learned to work together better. Everything as a whole has improved. Even with the bumps in the roads, I'm not saying it's easy, but even after all the bumps in the roads and learning curves, it has improved tremendously. Not just in our relationship, but just for me personally as well. Having this whole new dynamic of we run a family-based business now. And the coolest part for me as a dad, especially with the 2-year-old, his little brain is starting to soak so much up. And it's been the coolest thing that he gets to grow up knowing that his parents are making it happen. We are building that time freedom that we want. So he's out here now. If we're doing a shipment, he's out there trying to put tape on the boxes. He's trying to peel labels off. It's the funniest thing to watch. So it's just the coolest thing knowing that he gets to grow up with a time and society that you have everything you need at your fingertips to live a successful life. So if he wants to learn various methods of online income and create a lifestyle that he wants for him, we can teach him that because we've been walking the walk. He's not going to have to settle for a 9-to-5 job that's crap that he's not happy at. But with that being said, we've also learned a great deal about true, honest work ethic, and that is something that we are going to instill in our little one. So there you go, guys. That was our first full year selling on Amazon. We did $70,000 in sales. We made $25,000 in profit. We had a lot of failures. We had a lot of learning experiences. We're still going through a learning experience, guys. My final thoughts are, looking at the whole year, most of you watch these videos because you may be new, you may be looking into selling on Amazon or eBay, and you're wondering how to do it. My one big takeaway from 2016 is the fact that you have to become resourceful. You have to become an entrepreneur. You cannot come into this with an employee mindset, thinking you can show up, do bare minimum work to collect a paycheck and to clock out at 5 p.m. each day. Because here's the reality, you won't make it. That's just the harsh truth. You have to be ready and willing to do whatever it takes early mornings, late nights, lunch break, power hours. You have to be ready and willing to make those sacrifices to build the business for you and your family. That's what this whole thing comes down to. My second takeaway would be, don't let fear get in the way. Just like one of my favorite speakers, Steve Harvey, says, you have to jump. Honestly, you have to jump and learn to build your wings on the way down. No YouTube video, no Facebook group, no paid coach, no course, no ebook. None of that will teach you as much as you learning from experience. That's it. You have to show up. You have to put in that first shipment. You have to put in the second shipment, the third shipment, etc. And you have to become consistent. And guess what? You are going to fail. And that's okay. As long as you're learning from it and doing better next time, you're going to keep growing into a better business person, into a better leader, into a better entrepreneur. And you're going to strengthen that mindset along the way. You're going to meet amazing people. You're going to meet mentors in your life. But that doesn't happen unless you step up and be willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. And finally, when you get into Amazon FBA, you have to come in this with the mindset that this is their ball game. This is Amazon's turf, guys. They can drop a new policy or change policies whenever they feel like it. You have to be willing to play by their rules if you want to be successful on this. You have to follow those guidelines. You have to list under the right conditions. Here's a prime example of how quickly things can change. July 2016, everyone was selling all these big name products like Nike and Fisher-Price and Legos. And then Amazon did something. They laid on brand restrictions. So all of a sudden, everyone starts scanning things and they see the big red restriction pop up on that screen. They're thinking, what the heck just happened? Amazon laid down the law. And that's why a lot of you are gonna get into this and you're gonna get frustrated because it's hard. The one takeaway, if anyone can learn from our experiences, do not watch YouTube videos and just think it's that easy. A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of things on Google, a lot of things in Facebook groups, it comes off as easy because you see people buying product and you see the sales number. You think it's that simple. This is a ball game, guys. You gotta play by the rules if you wanna be successful in this. So again, that's where mindset comes in. You have to have the mindset to be in this for the long haul. There's gonna be bumps in the road. You have to be ready to fight through it and follow the rules. If you follow the rules, you're going to be okay. So with all that being said, I just wanted to drive home the point that this is a business. Any business is tough, but especially with Amazon FBA where they can change the rules like that, you have to be ready and willing to adapt and grow and move forward with it. That is an entrepreneur. People who claim to be entrepreneurs or business owners within Amazon and eBay, the second that it gets hard, they don't adapt. They complain. They go into the Facebook groups and all you see is the complaining threads. While there's those of us who adapt, grow, and move forward with it. My one takeaway for you right now is this. If you want to build this business, it is not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of commitment. But the rewards that you can get out of it far outweigh the work that's going to go into it. It will be hard. There's going to be lots of times you get discouraged. You're going to have to grow and adapt. You're going to get knocked on your butt a few times. But as long as you get back up and keep moving forward, it is 100% worth it. And if there's anything that I did not cover in this video that you guys are curious about, I am an open book. Drop comments below, ask your questions. I will do my best to get on there and answer those for you. This has been Coach Chaz. I hope you guys took at least one thing out of this video. I know there's going to be haters who are going to come on here and run their mouths, and that's fine. I've learned to accept it. They're there. But I know there's those of you who we call lifers. You've just become such an amazing support on this YouTube channel, on the Facebook group, etc. To you, I honestly cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. I just want to thank you for supporting this YouTube channel, these videos, what we are about, and our community. Without you guys, we would not be up here doing this right now. So thank you again for tuning in. This has been Chaz. Peace out, guys. I'll see you next time.